Everybody watching today's video has dug a hole. Some people have made it a few feet deep, while others have made it much deeper. So today, we're gonna be finding out what's the deepest hole we can possibly dig.
So at some point in their lives, nearly everybody has wanted to dig a hole down to the center of the earth.
The
only problem is, nobody ever has actually dug a hole down that far. This leads us to the question that this video is all about. If humanity decided that digging a hole was the #1 objective of our species, then how deep down could we actually dig with modern day technology? Let's say that we start somewhere on the Earth's surface and just start digging from there. Not too far down at 1.8 meters, and we arrive at the standard grave depth in Western culture, so if you're afraid of zombies, this is how far down they'll be coming from. 4 meters down, and we arrive at the depth that Pharaoh Tutankhamun's tomb was discovered at. A little further at 6 meters below the surface, we reach the maximum depth that metal detectors can pick up signals from.
Okay, before we get any further, I want you guys to comment down below 2 things. First, comment down below the deepest hole that you've ever dug. Secondly, comment down below how deep you think that we could possibly dig. I think the deepest hole that I've personally dug has been like 6 feet deep at the beach one time. And the deepest that I think anybody has ever dug in the history of Earth, I want to say like maybe 2,000 feet. I feel like we haven't gotten that deep down into the surface.
At 12 meters, we can find the deepest burrows dug by animals, the Nile crocodile.
I honestly didn't know that crocodiles burrow.
20 meters, and we arrive at the depth of the Paris catacombs beneath the city of Paris, a tomb that holds the remains of over 6 million people. Double that distance to 40 meters down, and we can see the deepest swimming pool in the world. If you drained this pool and jumped into it from the top, it would take nearly 3 seconds before you would hit the bottom. 100 meters down is the usual distance that governments bury their nuclear waste at. And just beneath that, at 105.5 meters down, is the deepest metro station in the world, located in Kiev. Moving on to 122 meters down, and we see the deepest known point that a plant's roots have ever reached.
You're telling me that plants have dug down 400 feet? That's so deep. Like, why are they down that low? What are they doing down there?
A fig tree in South Africa. 220 meters down, and we arrive at the deepest river in the world, the Congo River in Africa. Beyond that, at 240 meters, you can ride through the deepest railway tunnel in the world that...
Okay, so people have still gone down past 787 feet.
Connects the Japanese islands of Honshu and Hokkaido. But at 287 meters down, you can drive through the deepest road tunnel in the world in Norway. 305 meters down, and you would still be vulnerable to the B-82 Earth-penetrating nuclear warhead, which can destroy structures up to this depth beneath the surface.
Okay, good to know.
Though, at 392 meters, we arrive at the deepest well and possibly deepest hole ever dug by hand.
Okay, so somebody has dug that by hand, which means that everything that we see that's past this has been dug by some sort of machine or explosive. That is insane that somebody actually dug by hand 1,286 feet. Imagine being out there just digging away like a dog. I wonder if that means like they dug with a shovel, like is that by hand? Or if they actually like use their hands to dig and claw. I'm gonna say they probably used a shovel, if I had to guess.
This is the Woodingdean water well in the UK, and it was dug all the way back in 1862. At 603 meters down, we arrive at something terrifying. The deepest vertical drop inside of a cave. If you were unfortunate enough to be in this cave and fall down this hole, the fall would be higher up than falling from the top of the One World Trade Center in New York. And the fall would take you over 11 seconds before hitting the bottom.
Imagine just walking around and then there's a giant hole in the ground. It's super dark so you can't see it. And you fall down a hole that is the length of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building made by man. How unfortunate would that be?
Even further down, though, at 700 meters is where the Chilean miners were trapped at for 69 days back in 2010. 970 meters down is the deepest hole ever dug that still has an open sky above it, the Bingham Canyon open pit mine in Utah. This pit is so deep that you could place the tallest building in the entire world in the center and still have over 100 more meters to the surface.
That's insane! Check it out. So at the bottom of that, it looks like maybe there's like some sort of like lake or pool, and then as you climb up, it's almost like a giant staircase that you can climb up, and it's so tall that towards the top, it actually gets so cold where it can snow. That just blows my mind.
Much further down at 1,410 meters, though, is where the deepest concert ever held happened by the band Agonizer in Finland. 1,642 meters down is the depth of the deepest lake on Earth, Lake Baikal in Russia. And
okay, no way somebody has actually gone deeper than that. 5,387 feet. There's no way that like a person has stood in a cave deeper than that.
1,857 meters down is the deepest part of the Grand Canyon.
Okay, that one doesn't necessarily like count in my opinion. Like obviously it is a canyon, so you're below sea level and it is in the earth technically, but it's different when there's a cave. When I can like see the sky, then I'm like, all right, this isn't that bad. You know, I don't feel like I am going to be trapped in here. I don't feel like, you know, it could fill up with water and I might die. I don't know. Does that make sense to you guys? Because for me, being in a cave that's that deep is a lot different than being in a Grand Canyon where like I can actually still see the sun above my body. And I guess like I can see the sky and the clouds and birds and stuff.
The deepest known cave on Earth is located 2,197 meters beneath the surface in Georgia. But the deepest hole that you could actually fall into goes way deeper than even this.
How?
All the way down at 3,132 meters is the bottom of the Moab Katsong mine shaft in South Africa.
Who is going down there? Seriously, dude? All right, I'm actually like getting goosebumps up and down my body. Who in their right mind is going down 2 miles?
Taking the elevator takes 4.5 minutes to reach the bottom.
You couldn't pay me enough money to go down there.
It would take you 25 entire seconds for you to hit the bottom and think about what you've just done.
That's like skydiving underground.
And miss an entire phone call. Even further down at 3,600 meters is the deepest point that a multicellular organism has been found alive. This freaky looking worm. But human beings themselves have been even deeper than this.
Who wants to do that?
4,000 meters down is the deepest part of the deepest mine on Earth, also located in South Africa.
No. Whoever is doing that, they are not getting paid enough money. They are in the mines. And they like it could collapse at any point. There is 2.5 miles of earth. There's like stones, sand, people, buildings, animals all above you. How does that even work? How are they not getting crushed? How like isn't it collapsing in on itself?
The trip from the surface down to the bottom takes over an hour to complete, and the temperature at the bottom can reach a sweltering 66 degrees Celsius.
So you would think that it's actually going to be colder the deeper you go, because like anytime you're in a cave, generally speaking, in my experience, like it is kind of colder because you don't have the sunlight, and you know, it kind of just like stays the same temperature. That's why basements are typically like the same temperature year round. They're like a little bit cooler. But I guess since you're like 3 miles underneath sea level, it makes it super hot because you're getting closer to the Earth's surface, or not the surface, you're getting closer to the core of the Earth, which is all like magma, and it's basically like a miniature sun inside the Earth, and it's heating up everything on the outer part.
6,000 meters is the average depth of the oceanic crust beneath the ocean floor. Way down at 8,848 meters is the height of Mount Everest if it were placed underground instead. 10,994 meters down is the bottom of the Marianas Trench, which is the deepest part of the ocean.
Okay,
I already covered the depth of the ocean in another video, but unbelievably, humans have actually dug down significantly deeper than even this. For reference about what's next, 11,887 meters is the average altitude that a commercial airliner flies at. But deeper than that, at 12,262 meters is the depth of the Kola Super Deep Borehole, a project where the Soviet Union attempted to drill all the way through the Earth's crust. They only reached a third of the way there though, because the temperature at this depth reached 180 degrees Celsius.
Wow. That's honestly a super cool idea, and I'm kind of sad that they didn't keep going. That's like a dream for like a young kid. Like I remember being 5 years old and, you know, being on the beach, digging with my shovel. And I was like, how cool could it be if I could dig all the way through and then I could reach like China on the other side? But unfortunately, it does not seem like it's possible. And if I did try to do it, I would burn alive.
Which was too hot for the drill to continue operating any further. The hole is also only 23 centimeters wide, so luckily you can't accidentally fall into it.
That is insane. Look at all the area around it. Like, I wonder if they have, like, you know, put a fence around it or something. Like, it kind of looks like it's in the middle of nowhere. And even though they did bolt it shut, you're telling me that if I were to open that, I could drop something down 12,000 meters, like 6 miles. What?
If you dropped a quarter down the shaft, though, it would take about 50 seconds before it hit the bottom. Recently, however, this depth has been surpassed by the Z44 Shavio oil and gas well, which has drilled down to a depth of 12,376 meters. That's the equivalent of stacking 15 Burj Khalifas on top of each other, and currently represents the deepest hole that humanity has ever dug.
7.7
The crust, however,
miles.
can extend down to 70,000 meters below the Earth's surface, and the planet's center is located 6,371 kilometers down.
We probably
if the surface
go
of the
there.
Earth is Lisbon, Portugal, and the planet's center is Astana, Kazakhstan, then humanity so far has just ventured this tiny, insignificant distance. If you enjoyed the video that you just...
I honestly cannot believe that. That is the deepest hole that we can possibly dig. 7.7 miles, but to get just through the crust, we have to go 43 miles. And then after that, we're not even close to the core. Get digging, ladies and gentlemen. We have some work to do.